Hi, I'm Jeff Scholl, and I'm a certified spiritual life coach. I feel called to talk to men primarily about healing our emotional energies. It wasn't something that I had ever learned growing up. I was brought up in a world to learn how to bury my emotions, to be more of a stoic male, and I have certainly manifested that over the course of my life. Since many of us were not taught how to process our emotions, uh, we have repressed them. And that has had devastating consequences, certainly on my own life. When I was 26, I woke up one morning and I had a blood clot in my left leg. I was in the U.S. Navy at the time. It was a Sunday morning. I felt a pain in my leg, and I woke up and pulled back the covers, and my left leg was almost twice its normal size, dark purple, and my skin was cool to the touch. I dressed myself in my dress uniform, drove myself to the Naval Hospital, and saw a civilian internist who told me that I had a pinched nerve in my back, gave me pain meds, and sent me home for 2 days. Came back in on Tuesday to the orthopedic department. They looked at me, freaked out, and put me in a wheelchair and drove me over to the internist office, who did something called a venogram and found out I had a blood clot in my femoral vein, and then I spent 6 weeks in the hospital, about half of it in intensive care. And you may ask, what does that have to do with our emotions? I found out over the course of my journey, over the last 30 years, it has a lot to do with my emotions. Over the course of my life, I had repressed most of my emotions. Since I now know that everything is energy, I had stuffed away everything I had ever felt. I had felt wrong most of my life because of the society that I was brought up in. Parents, teachers, anyone older than me, anyone I would consider an elder, they were the authority. They were always right, which meant I was always wrong. And so I had buried my frustration, my anger, my sadness, because I was also brought up in a society where axioms like big boys don't cry were the norm. And so I learned to bury all of that, and it hardened me to life, and it hardened me to other people. And I carried so much anxiety within me as a result that I was fearful in pretty much every situation. My mind was always on guard, trying to prepare myself for what's the worst case scenario that can come out of this next situation that I'm going to be in. And then preparing myself for that so that if that worst case happened in that scenario, I would be mentally prepared for it. And it was a horrible, stressful way to live my life. Also, as a result, I was always looking for ways to numb my feelings. Since I had accepted the program from an early child that I wasn't supposed to be feeling or expressing feelings that would make anybody else in my life uncomfortable in any way, I drank alcohol as a way to numb that out. I was probably more promiscuous than certainly in my 20s than was healthy for me, because it being that way prevented me from developing deep relationships. I was so scared of really connecting with anyone and then having the opportunity to be truly hurt. So I kept everything very superficial. And the moment that I started to feel love for anyone, I cut myself off from that. And it made for a very difficult life to kind of, I told myself I was happy. I told myself it was exciting to bounce from relationship to relationship, but that really wasn't the truth. It was difficult. And all of it had to do with me understanding how to maturely process my emotional energies in my life. It affected my health, my relationships, and my career because I was very sensitive and always on the defensive. And I'm sure you know people like that. Maybe you are one of those people. Sometimes it can be very difficult to talk to those people. It almost feels like you're walking on eggshells around them. And I feel like a lot of maybe veterans that haven't dealt with the emotional trauma that we faced during our time in the military service, first responders, and anyone else that has experienced a significant amount of trauma in their lives probably carries this emotional energy. And over the course of this video series, I'm going to be sharing with you how I've learned to heal layers of this trapped emotional energy. I'm going to point you to resources that I've found along the way that will help you. And at the same time, I'm still going to be working through some of my own trauma real time. I'm not claiming that I am a perfect person, that I have reached some sort of nirvana, that I'm a guru or anything. I am teaching what I most need to heal. But I am qualified to be a guide for you on your journey. And I have helped many people over the past 20 years. I will say that most of those people have been women. It has been women that has been seeking out growth and evolution and transformation. And I feel with where we are in our society at this point in time, where the world is, that it's very important that men start this healing and growth. And I feel like if you're watching this video, you are feeling that sense of dissatisfaction and disillusionment with the world. And I can assure you that the feelings that you're having have nothing to do with the moves that your sports team is making or the way that you feel being treated at work or whatever's going on with your romantic partner. What is happening right now is your soul is calling you to evolve and to grow. And my soul is calling me to be a guide to you on this journey. And this is not comfortable for me either. Anybody that knows me knows that I really don't enjoy being in front of the camera. As reluctant as I am, this is what I'm being called to do. I'm going to do the best I can through this. I hope that you like and subscribe. And if this is something that resonates for you, then we'll take this journey together and see where it goes.